He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I don't see them standing in line." He thought he was slick, skipping over elderly folks like it meant nothing. So I gave him what he truly deserved, not with yelling, not with fists, but with silence, patience, and one missing can of gas. If you ever want to decide justice to someone who walks all over the vulnerable, this story is your therapy session. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into one of the most satisfying silent takedowns you'll hear all week. It was supposed to be a routine trip to the grocery store, just a simple stop before heading home. You know the kind. Cart half full, earbuds in, low-stress kind of vibe. I found myself in a medium-length checkout line. To the left was a priority lane, marked clearly for senior citizens, people with disabilities, or anyone needing special assistance. There were two elderly folks seated on plastic chairs nearby, a frail-looking woman gripping her cane, and a white-haired gentleman reading his receipt through thick bifocals. They weren't standing, but they were clearly next. Then, he walked in. This guy looked like the kind who believes he owns every room he steps into. Aviator shades indoors, muscle shirt that screamed, "I peak at 19 representatives," and a swagger like the whole world owed him time. Without hesitation, he cut right in front of the seated seniors. I blinked. Was he serious? I cleared my throat, gave him the benefit of the doubt. "Hey," I said, loud enough to be heard over the beeping scanners. "They're already in line." He turned his head, just slightly, not even fully. Didn't look at me. "I don't see them standing," he said, with a shrug and a smug half-smile. "So," just like that, he dismissed their humanity like it was a technicality. Those two seniors looked at me, visibly embarrassed. Neither said a word. You could see the tension in their shoulders. The way the woman gripped her cane just a bit tighter. He knew they wouldn't fight back. I didn't argue back. I didn't yell. But inside, I boiled. You ever feel your pulse in your A's? That hot wave of frustration that makes your hands itch, not to strike, but to act? I clenched my cart handle. My thoughts swirled with every insult I wanted to throw at him. I imagined pushing him aside, demanding he show respect. But I didn't want to escalate in front of the elderly folks. That would only make things worse. So I stayed quiet, watching. That's when I noticed what was in his cart. It was stacked with camping gear, a sleeping bag, a few packs of instant noodles, paper plates, a mini butane stove, and then I saw it, a single can of butane gas. It was nestled between the marshmallows and a cheap flashlight. That one tiny can was all he had to fuel his stove. And in that moment, my simmer turned to strategy. He was on his phone now, jabbering loudly, oblivious to everything else, probably bragging about the weekend getaway he was headed to, maybe even laughing at how he handled that situation in line. I looked at the butane can, then at him. The universe handed me an opening, and I took it. Casually, slowly, I leaned over, pretending to examine the items in my cart. With the smoothest motion I've ever pulled off in my life, I plucked that little can of gas and slid it into mine. He didn't flinch, didn't look up, didn't notice a thing. When it was finally his turn, he paid for everything, except the one thing he didn't know was missing. I checked out after him, including the butane I had liberated. Walked past the exit doors, heart racing, adrenaline buzzing in my fingertips. I didn't even want the gas. But I wanted him to realize what happens when you disrespect people who've earned their place, in line and in life. I like to imagine it. He arrives at his scenic campsite. Sun setting, birds chirping. He probably sets up his little stove, boasting to his buddies about how efficient he is. Maybe he grabs a packet of noodles, opens the stove, and reaches for the gas, only to find nothing. No fuel, no hot meal, no coffee, just crunchy noodles and a cold bite of karma. I wonder if he cursed, blamed the store, checked his receipt twice. I hope he sat there, stomach growling, realizing that somewhere between mocking the elderly and thinking he was untouchable, consequences snuck up behind him, silent as justice itself. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. No social media call-out. No screaming match. Just a tiny act that echoed far louder than any argument could. It's easy to dismiss kindness when you think no one's watching. But it only takes one person, one quiet act, to remind someone that being clever doesn't always mean being right. If this story gave you a little smake, a little spark of satisfaction, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that prove karma doesn't need a spotlight to work its magic. And tell me in the comments, what's your favorite quiet revenge? Let's trade tales, because justice comes in many flavors. Some are sweet, others taste just like cold, uncooked noodles.